Marino, le grand guitariste canadien, montréalais en plus. On va s'entretenir avec pour quelque chose comme les 5-7 prochaines minutes. Hi Frank.
How you doing?
How are you? Just fine.
See you.
Great. When did you get in town?
This morning.
You own town?
Yeah, this morning. We got back into Canada about 2 days ago. We did 2 dates in Quebec, and we're home for today, and then we do some Canadian dates, and we're back to the States.
How is it to come back in our own place?
It's great. It's cold.
Yeah, compared to LA, I guess it is, huh?
It's freezing.
Yeah, yeah. It's your first time at Musique Plus, by the way, huh?
Yeah, first time I've been here. Cool place.
Yeah, well, thank you. Welcome here, and welcome anytime. Tell me, your band. I want to know. I mean, how come you guys split up and then you started to do your own stuff?
Well, the original band.
Yeah.
Well, they all wanted to do different things. You know, we were 10, 11 years together, and the drummer went first, and bass player went after that. We're all still friends. We still see each other, jam, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Et Mahogany Rush, c'était le groupe dont Frank Marino faisait partie. Bon, c'était pas une chicane, c'est seulement qu'il était temps pour tous les membres du groupe de se séparer. D'ailleurs, ils se revoient très souvent, semble-t-il. Ils font des jam sessions ensemble. Non, pas une chicane du tout, seulement d'aller vers d'autres horizons. So tonight you'll be playing here at Metropolis.
Metropolis, yeah.
Is it a bit exciting to come back and play in front of people that you know and people in your family, stuff like that?
It's a little bit weird. I always have a little problem playing in front of all my friends and stuff because they're my friends. So it's like, you know,
yeah.
It's a little bit embarrassing sometimes. But no, I like to play. I always like to play Montreal. So
yeah,
it's great.
You were here 2 years ago. Huh? It was your last time here in Montreal. I mean that at least we
were
heard about you.
At the Brick or something.
Yeah, at the Brick. Yeah.
And I don't know when that was. Was it 2 years ago?
Yeah, it was something like 2 years ago. And you met Mark. Yeah, that long. We'll show a clip that when we're on stage. Okay, we'll come back right after that. Effectivement, il y a 2 ans, c'était le 12 septembre 91, c'est bien ça, le 12 septembre 91, c'était à la Brique, c'est Frank Marino qui était avec son band là. Tell me, how is it? We've seen an evolution on guitar players since the last 10 or 15 years.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, so how do you feel with that? Because you were playing back then, you've been playing guitar for what, 20 years, something like that?
23, 24 years.
So, okay, I wasn't even born and you were playing guitar. I'm sorry to say that, but that's true.
Neither was I.
So how do you see the evolution going through all those years?
I see it's very interesting because after the 60s there was a few guitarists like myself who started playing sort of in that Hendrixy blues style, you know, and then things changed after a while, and we used to catch a lot of flack for playing that style of music back then, probably because it was so close to Jimi Hendrix's death. And then things changed and guys got into that neoclassical stuff and all that speed metal and speed stuff. And I think it's funny because now 20 years later, most guitar players have come back around to what we started to do back then.
Yeah. Okay.
And I see that very much.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Often we compare guitar players with Jimi Hendrix. We ask them all the time, how did Jimi Hendrix influence you and stuff like that. I know that when you first started, you were compared to Jimi Hendrix many times, and you played tribute to Jimi Hendrix in shows, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But once and for all, we'll just put it clear out. How do you influence you, and how do you see him now, even after his death?
Well, he influenced me as. I remember telling an interviewer at one time when they used to give us trouble about the style of music we were doing. I used to say, look. One day, I really believe that one day most guitar players will be judged by how closely they play to this style. And they said, well, you know, that's not true, and it's turned out to be true. And I think most, if not every electric guitar player, rock guitar player today is influenced by that particular style of guitar playing. I don't know why. I just know it's great. I love it. I still love it.
Yeah.
I just didn't always appreciate the comparisons early on because they were, I love them and everything, but they were usually done in an unfavorable manner, you know. And then when people accepted it later in the late 70s and the 80s, I think it started to be okay. But by then I sort of said, let the other guys be compared to Jimi Hendrix, you know.
Okay. Frank nous dit que ouais, depuis des années, on compare presque tous les guitaristes. Dès qu'on leur donne un peu de temps, on les compare à Jimi Hendrix. C'est un petit peu tannant puisque ces guitaristes-là essaient de se faire une vraie carrière et tout le temps on les ramène à les comparer à Jimi Hendrix. Et déjà même au début des années 70, Frank disait que c'est possible qu'au fil des prochaines années, c'était possible qu'on cesse de faire ça. Malheureusement, c'est pas encore le cas. Tout le temps on vient, on compare les gens à Jimi Hendrix. This album From the Hip,
yeah.
Tell me, is there a common point with this album and when you were playing with your band before?
Well, no, there's some songs on this record, believe it or not, that one particular one, Rise Above, that I wrote when I was with the other guys, but we just never got it recorded.
Okay.
So the band is very, very similar to the original band in terms of musical content. I think that we've gone a little bit further in terms of how far out we take the music now. We're not quite as simple as we used to be in terms of the style of music,
okay.
but we're pretty hard. We play pretty hard rock.
Yeah. Okay. You have your own studio, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Starbase.
Yeah.
And
So
you had to get that plug in, right?
So how is it to have your own studio and work in it? I mean, I guess there's a big difference and when you have to rent a studio and pay for that.
Well, I became very disillusioned with the music industry in that they were signing bands and giving them all kinds of money, and then the bands would have to go spend their money in the studio, and the bands would end up with nothing. You know, it's the band takes their advance, they spend it in the studio. The record company makes most of the money, and the band ends up, as you know, speaking to a lot of artists, with a lot less. So I figured, look, you know, it's probably best if we make our own place and do our own records and put our own records out. We're much, much happier that way. And we have a studio that caters particularly to musicians. It doesn't do any jingles or commercials or any other kind of business except album stuff and music, so it's pretty cool.
Okay. Frank a réussi à avoir son propre studio, avec des collègues de travail. Et il était un peu désabusé peut-être vers le début des années 80, à savoir que plusieurs personnes louaient des studios et que finalement ces artistes-là ne se retrouvaient jamais avec un album sur les tablettes. Donc c'était tout le temps les mêmes gens qui faisaient de l'argent avec les musiciens qui, eux, n'en avaient pas beaucoup. Donc dis-moi, je vais absolument avoir mon propre studio. Et pour les artistes qui travaillent en studio, ben là c'est complètement différent puisqu'on n'a pas à payer tout le temps l'argent. Une fois qu'on est rentré dans le studio, ben, on peut travailler sur l'album tant qu'on veut. We were talking about Jimi Hendrix earlier. Would you like to watch a clip on?
Sure.
Okay, we'll watch. On va regarder Jimi Hendrix et on revient tout de suite après avec Chris. At the Metropolis. What kind of stuff can we expect to see?
Some stuff from the hip and all of our stuff, like the last 10, 15 years of stuff. We've got a 3-hour show, almost 2.5, 3 hours.
Yeah, that's a long show, huh?
2.5 hours, I would say. Yeah.
With the guys that you were with on this album.
Yeah, except the new drummer. We have a new drummer.
Okay, so it's like a real band. I mean, you guys know each other, so it's going to be good stuff tonight. Le spectacle que vous verrez ce soir au Metropolis, c'est avec les musiciens qui étaient sur cet album-là. Donc c'est quasiment, c'est un band, finalement, c'est un band, donc ça risque d'être un spectacle qui promet. Congratulations, you'll be a father in 2 weeks.
Yep, I hope so. Knock on wood.
Yeah, well, congratulations, and good luck with this new baby, okay?
Thank you very
good
much.
luck for tonight at Metropolis as well. Come back anytime you want.
Thank you.
On se quitte avec une pause, on revient tout de suite après.